1. All right, I'm back for DustFest's ongoing coverage of Fragadelphia X Tap 2. I'm here with Nix, following his team's qualification to playoffs. So you're here with a mixed team called Derpy Ass, I believe?
Derpy A Kids.
Derpy Ass Kids, excuse me. And you made that playoffs recently with a win over Altered Iron. How did you feel about that match against that advanced team?
Um, it was pretty good. It went like about as good as expected. We had the 13-0, which was pretty fun. Shouldn't have lost the first map, but it's still a nice win.
And you guys did come back in map 2 with that, I believe, 13-0 on Nuke to force a third map against that squad. How was the team feeling with that 13-0 against Altered Iron?
I mean, after the 13-0, like, I just felt like we were going to win. We just played confident in the third map and won it pretty easily.
And I was surprised a bit because you guys seemed pretty reserved in that 13-0. I was waiting for like some kind of pop-off or some kind of banter between the two teams. I think all I heard was a couple Hiroshes. Was it an intent to be more reserved, or what was the reaction there?
I mean, like, it wasn't even like people doing crazy plays. It was just like people playing good CS, and like all the rounds we won were like pretty clean. So, I mean, like, we were definitely excited, but there was nothing that really got the adrenaline pumping. We were just playing better than the other team.
And with that, so the basis of this team is around the NoVum core, which are Fragadelphia regulars. But I was wondering, how did this team come together with you joining that team, that squad alongside K2?
Well, K2 was already on the team. It's CLX, I believe, who wasn't able to make it, and a friend like wanted me to go, and they looked at the tickets. The tickets were $50, so I was like, well, why not go? So I was gonna come anyways, and then they wound up needing a sub, so I just wound up playing.
Now, shifting the focus back to your regular team, Lag. Lag, unfortunately, is now facing relegation after a rough season for the squad. The first thing I wanted to ask you about that was, obviously, ogwizard was called up to Party Astronauts. Did you expect the team to feel such a gap without your Ukrainian star rifler in the squad?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a very hard void to replace, like, just losing your opera in general, but, like, also he's, like, one of the best operas in my, like, top 5 at least in ECL. So, like, losing that, especially when we're, like, on the lower end of, like, the teams, we were a playoff team with him, but we were still on the lower end, so, like, losing the star player on your team is always just going to be hard. Doesn't really matter, like, where you're at, so, I don't know. It is what it is.
And was that a surprise for you that ogwizard, and I said Rifler, of course he's an opper, went to the Party Astronaut squad? Was it something that he let you guys know, give you some runtime, or was it something that happened very suddenly?
No, we knew, like, when, we knew, like, a couple days before, like, when Wolfie and, CXCI left the team. Both of us actually messaged them, and he got a response. They basically wanted him right away. Like, they didn't even have to try him out. So, yeah, he got picked up. We knew well before Chicagoland. Like, we were at Chicago, and we knew, like, he was already gone, and we were, like, looking at other options. But, yeah.
And for him to receive the call up to Party Astronauts, of course, you guys went on this journey together to make it to ECL. So how are you feeling for him? You know, a young player to be called up to a team as prestigious as Party Astronauts.
I mean, I, like, love it for him. Like, we talked before, like, neither of us would be mad if, like, we left the team to join, like, a team that's, like, actually gonna, like, elevate you as a player. You know what I mean? So, I'm nothing but happy for him. Like, he's a very good friend. We talk all the time. Like, there's nothing there.
And speaking of those general career aspirations, it wasn't too long ago that you were, playing on that that Bad News Bears roster that was kind of a mix, that was kind of a mess. And so you've made a significant progress, I think, in the last year since we last talked to you at the original Frag CS2. How are you feeling about your progress in your career thus far in the last year?
I feel like I'm playing, like, really good. Like, there's obviously, like, plenty of, room to improve. Like, certain aspects of my game I could definitely, like, work on. But I think over the last year, basically since, like, CS2's been out, I've been on a, like, steady incline. I don't feel like I've started to plateau at all. I'm still getting better. But again, like, there's always things to improve.
And at the same time, it's been something of a tumultuous period for the Lag roster itself. What do you make of the team's run in ECL? Do you think it came down to having all those roster changes happen, or is there something more systemic that the team needs to work on?
I mean, all the roster changes kind of led to like not having much prac at all. Like OG, like we knew OG was gone. We made a roster change at the beginning of the season, so we had to start from scratch. Then I almost left for a little bit, and then um, like we picked up Ray middle of the season. It was just like a bunch of stuff that kind of led to not having the ideal amount of practice time that we would have liked, and then also just at the end of the day, like we choked a lot of games. Like we had 10 overtime losses and two 13-11 losses. So if we would have won one of those games, we wouldn't be in relegation. So
Looking at some of the new pieces on the squad, to start with your new coach, El Principe, how's it been working with him? Obviously, he brings a very unique perspective coming from the Turkish scene. So, what can you tell us about working with him so far?
um, he's great. Again, like we haven't had as much practice time as we would really like. Like we're kind of stuck between, like for a long time we were stuck between like we don't know what we're doing as a team. So like getting practice in was hard. So like having his input in the team was very hard. So I think he's a great coach from like he's been on the team for like 2 months, but we really haven't had a lot of time. We haven't had a lot of time together.
The other new piece, Trojan, recently joined on trial, and of course, this is a massive step up for him as a player, considering this is his first season of ECL, and he was kind of plucked into this team in a very sudden way. What can you do you feel about his development as a player, and just in general? You know, maybe not necessarily on lag, but just as someone who's had to take a huge step in a relatively short amount of time.
Um, I mean, he's slotted in. He's been doing his job. He's been he's been doing like pretty good. Like all things considered, like just slotting him in, especially like OG's, um, OG's shoes are really big shoes to fill. So I think he's doing a fine job with where he is now. And if like if we go with him in the future, like I'm sure for him there's definitely room to improvement because his mechanics really good. I think there's like a bit of a language barrier there, but that's just something that'll come with time.
Uh, by the end of next season, this squad will have to play relegation. Relegation is very pivotal for ECL teams because they almost always disband if they get relegated. Is there any fear on the part of the lag squad that we may not make it back to ECL, or how's the team how's the mood in the team camp after being sent to the relegation tournament?
Um, I don't. I think we're like very confident going into it. There's not a lot of advanced teams that we're like really worried about. I think like the best team in advanced, or that could be in relegation is stamina undefined. Um, that's like the basically the best team we could play, and take flights in there. But undefined will probably win. There's no Smurf team in relegation this season. I think it'll be fun.
Is there any worries about any form of ring rust or anything? Of course, you're going to have to wait for the next season of ESA Advance to finish, which means you're going to have about a month and a half, if not more, to just kind of sit around stewing, waiting for that relegation tournament to come up.
Yeah, so we like decided after the last game we were gonna take like a little bit of a break. We're actually gonna start when I get back from land. So, I mean, we're gonna have a good amount of practice just to make sure like we keep the spot. Because ultimately, like that is what's most important. Like losing all those losing all those games we lost definitely like took a toll on us like mentally. But I think relegation should be.
And now for this tournament itself, here with your mixed team, what's the general expectation? Do you think we have could go all again? And you could do a two-peat here at the TAP Esports Center?
I mean, you know, defending the title would be cool, but I think we definitely make finals. Like especially depending on like how the bracket goes. I mean, Timberman's like it's not like a real team right now. It's like a mixed team, so I think they're definitely beatable. Same goes for Fisher and like I think it's fine. I think we have a good chance.
All right, so that's nicx coming off of a win against Altered Iron to lock in a spot in playoffs. We'll see him in action tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time, and get a good night's sleep.